proceed. Whore is becoming widow of Egypt. All who roamed have been subdued by the king of Egypt.
Peace, peace, peace. What up? Yeah, we're about to get into this Merenptah Stele. Look at it a little bit. See what we can bring forward. Anybody out there join in if you know. But, I don't really even feel comfortable with this headset on. But you got those three sources, right?
Yeah, I've got them up.
Alright. I'm gonna just start with let me share this real quick. On Facebook, I guess. If I can find it. Oh yeah, I ain't even tripping because I know Israel Doctrine gonna come in and try to argue me through the floor, and I'm not really trying. I'm not trying to do that type of study, so I'll just mute him out. I really want to analyze this, but I'm going to share my screen once I.
Let's look. Where does it say? I want to just see where it says Israel first.
It's down by line. It's down in the 20s somewhere down there.
Yeah, 26
but
or 27.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. See, this to me, it seems very curious.
You got your screen. You can, if you found it. What line is on 27? Let me find it.
Yeah. There it is, right next to the bunny. There it is.
All right, let me see. 27. How many lines is it? Let me see. 25, 26. All right, the second from the bottom. Oh yeah, here it go. All right, this is what they say it is. Like I said, we could just look at it, but I'm not definitely going to hop right into it and give my conjecture on what I think it is or not. I'm going to just finish, analyze the text and let this be somewhat of a study in Medu Neter. Peace, brother Ish. What's up this morning?
Peace, God. What's good?
All right, chilling. Yeah, we just doing the preliminaries. You know what I'm saying? Basically trying to is actually doing a study in the grammar of the text and the Medu Neter. And I got down to line 5, and I found some anomalies already, but I'm not going to, weigh in on it until, we can discuss it, but I won't try to form a conclusion until actually I've looked over the whole text, you know what I'm saying?
Sure. What's the actual text is that we're dealing with?
So this right here is the Merenptah Stele.
Okay.
And it's basically one misnomer or commonly known as the Israel Stele. And basically it is because of a term or a phrase that we find on line 27.
I call it the tune text because you very rarely ever find anybody who actually takes it to a live picture of it. You generally get people who are always overlaying cartoons over this in order to push it their own way. Now, I've already broken down the details of the show that one key part where they try to make it Israel, they're trying to make it two separate words, when in actuality it connects as one word. It connects and looks to me like it's an owl, but they try to disconnect it, and it's generally people who put cartoons over the actual text itself. But when you look at the text itself, it's one word which connects at the top.
Well, yeah, we got a lot to discuss about that, but the condition of this primary is so, like, the condition of the primary that they make available is, you know what I mean? It's like, this is what we have right here, and the portion that, we could possibly go to the museum and we would still be behind a piece of glass. And so you're right, a lot of people who, we got a lot of different facsimiles of this text, and some of them are, very inaccurate. But when we, I mean, uh-oh.
I mean, for the people.
Whoa, whoa. I think I gotta mute. I think that's my brother. I gotta mute you. But yeah,
So
you can still hear us, brother, can't you?
I can hear you.
Okay,
Can your brother hear us?
Yeah, I think so. I just muted it because we had some feedback. But what were you saying?
I was just saying that the people who are trying to push the whole Israel thing, are we now using vowels?
And this is one of the analysis we're going to look at too, especially in the case of the, if you could possibly see here, if I'm correct. Can you see my mouse go across my screen or not?
I'm looking for the mouse. I'm seeing the scene shift, but I'm trying to follow.
Let me share it in a different way. I gotta share it in a different way. You can see it now, right? Okay, if I'm correct, and you can help me on
black. Okay, hold on, it's coming up. Yeah, I see it now.
Caleb, if you can help me on this, if I'm trying to identify this term on the primary, this looks like to me the first Y right here.
Two reads.
Okay, now one thing I've noticed about just doing, looking over a few primaries, not too many words in Medu Neter start with Y. It's kind of funny for me to see this, and it appears weird to me. Next we can see what looks like an S, and I can't see.
The key is the one just left of that. The one that they try to paint it to look like the Barney dinosaur. The one that's to the left of it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They try to paint that. I don't know. Your mouse is over to the right of it, but if you move your mouse over, that one. I'm saying that's an owl, and they try to make it look as if it's two different things. Whereas I see it as right where your mouse is, it cuts over to the top of the head and into like a square, and then comes back down like that wing. If you look at what the M looks like, it looks identical to what the owl and the M would look like, as opposed to two separate words. If you look at what the M looks like, it looks identical to that.
Well, it's hard for me to really tell, but from the copy we were looking at that day when we had the discussion, which was a cartoon, like someone superimposed over the top or whatever. It was easier to agree, but right here, if we follow along with some of the other bars we find in the text, it would be hard for me to weigh in on that now. But where I'm at is in this area, which is supposedly a R, and if we look really, really close, we kind of see the outskirts of an old R, but it's not as defined as, as far as looking at this copy, I'm pretty sure if we were in the museum, we would probably be able to
get a better copy. And I've seen more clear copies of this key part. Also, the proof is in the pudding. If that really said that, the way that the Zionists have control over the media, it would have been way more known. We're talking about the people who run the media itself. If that was legitimately said that, it would be yelling at from every mountaintop, hands down, without a doubt.
You're right.
We're talking about the biggest media control entity on the planet. So that alone, the proof is always in the pudding.
So I agree with you, and I agree, and a lot of people have used it in that way. We even know the woman who, what's her name, Merenptah Stele. She was of Jewish descent, or Jewish, you know what I mean, and it would not be what we could call an unbiased translation. I'm not faulting her for anything. Don't get it twisted.
Right.
Because as far as I've gotten into the text so far, I'm only to line 5, but everything appears so sound as far as the way she translated, and that's what I intend to go over, and just so that we can look at this as a survey of some of the grammar used in the text, and my man Caleb can help me out walking through some of this. And we got our dictionaries and our tools that we use. If anyone wants to refer to a good dictionary, it is this one. You can use it now, probably download it if you don't have it. It's the Mark Vegas dictionary, and it's a PDF copy that helps us check this transliteration we're doing, because first we will transliterate it and then have to translate it. And so upon that point, all of our minds will help us discern the proper definition of the terms, you know what I mean? So right now I was on. So basically it starts with an announcement of the year. As if you can see my mouse, or let me see over
Yes,
here.
I can see your mouse in the right corner up there.
Yeah, it starts with an announcement of the year, and as I have it, it's two different ways you can say this, but since I see the SEP, I think this is Merenptah Stele
I
5.
hate the fact when you be reading this stuff and they be saying stuff like thieves and just imposing their goddamn views on this, man.
Yeah, you
Devils,
know,
man.
I went into a brief study on that, just into the
I
term
hate that, man.
Osiris
It's
and
nasty. Yeah, that whole stuff. You know what I'm saying? And thieves and just tainted, man. I can't stand these beats, man.
some of it is not completely inaccurate though. Like with ISIS,
Man.
when we say ISIS and Osiris, we know about Asar or Set, but I'm talking about the fact that they were trying to say it in their language, and where we mess up is also saying it in their language. But when they try, when they try to give a depiction in their language, it was somewhat a little bit accurate, because we've come to find out that the IS suffix that they're using, which they come up with ISIS, is really representative of a icon or image or figurine, and sometimes of well, I wouldn't want to add of deity, but I would say an icon or image.
I guess I'm just saying they are so far removed culturally, spiritually, of any kind of connection of these authentic African cultures. They're so far removed for them to attempt to even try to decipher it, and then have the audacity to call themselves teachers. I feel a natural affinity and connection when I hear Theophilo Benga breaking down the teaching, or when I hear they go to the African authorities when they are there. They don't know what the hell they're regurgitating. They go to the local African element people in order to get the information, and then they take that information and then they take it back to Harvard, Oxford, etc. That's what they do, when they're in the field. But it's just, I don't know. It just fits some kind of. I just feel some type of way about it. I'm just expounding. I'm sorry.
Please, I'm listening. I'm giving you got frustrating. The floor. You got the floor all the time, brother Ish. You know that.
No, it's just frustrating sometimes to be hearing them. But
like
please,
honestly, to qualify that critique, I sit here, and because people say then what they do wrong or what they say wrong, and even about other points in this text, I've just found briefly a few issues within the first 5 lines, but I would have to be able to point out and show exactly where I feel we have points of contention.
Yes, sir.
And so I know I got my man here to help me out, but I'm just going to try to walk through it. And we can also look at it like this will help us remember some text we look at, because when you see these symbols, this first two, which is Merenptah, this is Merenptah, and this is the T, which is the phonetic complement or the ending T onto this. This symbol is Sep. It's basically denoting the regional year of the reign of the king. So now we see the 5 numerals after this right here. So it's basically saying Merenptah 5 or regional year 5 of Abed. Abed, you see this symbol looks like a half moon or a crescent moon on the top.
Right.
It's Abed. And it means like the month, basically. So it's the 3rd month of Shimu. This is Shimu right here. And so Shimu is one of the 3 seasons, basically, that we have for that they based it, because they didn't have 4 seasons, they had 3 seasons. Now we see throughout this text, what we'll notice is it's hard to distinguish between the circular glyphs, but with a little knowledge of the glyphs, we'll be able to distinguish between the ones that indicate Ra and the ones that indicate the sound, which is basically, what is it? It's known as the placenta, I think. It's the KH sound. And so this right here, I was saying Merenptah Stele 5. What's the word for 5? Caleb, do you know your my numbers? I ain't got my numbers. Is it Fedu? Fedu is 4.
It's 4. It possibly could be Dua.
Pardon me?
I think it's Dua.
All right. Until we check, we're gonna roll with that. Thank you. And that's 5. So it's in the 5th year of Abad, which is the 3rd month of Shimu, and now we see Ra up here, and then we see 3. So that's basically saying the 3rd day. Now the first word we see after that introduction is Kor. Really, to go through it is Kor, him, in Heru. So Kor is like the beginning phrase. Kor right here, we see this R. Now this is one thing we need to point out, and specifically in one of my analysis I want to do in transliterating this text. You see this mouth glyph, I think it's D21 on the Garden of Sign list. Just to appropriate that is a mouth, I can go right to it. And it should be D21 right here. It doesn't even say, because Wiki is not that thorough, but I can tell. Oh, it does say it's a mouth, an ideogram for a mouth.
Yeah, also the letter R, yeah.
Okay, so right here, now let's keep that in mind, because this is used as a L in their translation of the Merenptah Stele. Now, let me add more, because there is a noted interchangeability between these glyphs, but what I argue is this interchangeability happened throughout time periods, and it would be hard to find it used for 2 different meanings in one text. And so you see what I'm saying? They got it for
so the context means a lot in the use of it. Yeah, the context would mean a lot.
Exactly. So right here is used as an R, and this first word, if I'm correct, is Kor. Now I got the transliteration that I've been working out. Did I close out my page? Hold on. I'm working on some transliteration. I need to bring this over here. And I don't mean to be on Facebook, but just to make sure I'm correct, let me minimize this. Yeah, Kor is that word, and I'm just going back. This is, I only got down to line 5, but if you see, only so far, to keep it real, the only points of contention I have are the words that we see in red. And so I can't go all the way on and get to discrediting things yet. I have to wait until I get into the aha moment, you know what I mean, which I haven't had yet. But yeah, Kor was the term, and now if we refer to the dictionary, it means to be under something. But I just want to verify things I'm saying, since we're doing a study. So the way we use this dictionary is we simply, once we know that the letters of transliteration, we know Kor is XR, and now we can go to all the XRs and see if one falls under, like I said, under. Right here, here it is, Kor, but it's not written the way that it was written in the primary, so I'll look for another one. Kor, to be under, and to be thorough, you just start from the top. But I already kind of did this before, so I was looking for it. But anyway, it means to be under. And the next word in the text is him. Here it is right here, Kor. You see, with, near, under a king, or by an agent, to speak to or say so, blah, blah, blah. But in this context that we see Kor, and here are the glyphs, and now we can I can find it in the primary and in the facsimile.
Right.
Right here we see it in the facsimile, and then on the primary we'll see it at the top. right after, just to make sure we're looking at everything. This is the introduction,
Oh, he took it up to the
Merenptah
very top.
5,
Okay.
Abad Shimel. See, they're writing it from a different direction if you notice. And so
Right.
that's something else to notice, that when they create these facsimiles, they normally switch the direction because we're used to reading English. But we see the term core here, so we can, okay, now we know, and we can see core, him, in, Heru, Karnak, but I don't want to go too far. We want to just walk through this slowly. So let's get back to this. So core was under. Him is the majesty. Him. So this is interesting because this is one of the terms that people also use, a derivative of this term, to say slave. It's crazy, but we see him used right here as majesty. Him
Yes.
Neter is a servant of God. It is a different glyph, but it is the same phonemes or the same sound, and so we have to look at that. But right now it says under core him in. You see this in? This stroke is just simply denoting that it is. When you see the single stroke, it means literally sometimes. So they mean like really under the majesty. Are you want to speak on the single stroke, Caleb?
No, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, great. Yeah, basically. So it's core, him, in, which is a preposition like to or of. M and N can be used in the sense, but M is N is two. N is two, yeah. So Horus. So it's really like under the majesty of Horus, Heru. Now this bull right here, in this sense, is called Ka. And when you really see it with this User or with this power hand under it, you notice you'll see this hand many times. This is an arm holding something. But when it's holding this feather or whatever, is a representation of power or strength. So this is Ka Naked. Ka Naked. And when I get to certain terms, it's the mighty bull. When I get to certain terms that I need to appropriate, since I know the transliteration, I'll come back here and go Ka, and put NXT, Ka Naked, just to make sure I'm right. And we see it's the mighty bull. So then it's written exactly the way we see it on the so we can proceed. So we got Ka Naked, the mighty bull. Now we see these arms, upraised arms. Now we're used to seeing these upraised arms without the whole full body, and we know it as Ka, as a symbol for the spirit. But here it's used in the same sense, but a little bit differently. When you see the entire body, it's more used as a sense of praise. So it's like what I transliterated was Hayi, and I need to open up my Google Drive on this document just to make sure that I can keep referring back to this text properly. Let me see, what is that shit at? This is my most recent. All right, Merenptah Stele, here we go. I said Karnak, yeah, Hayi. I knew I transliterated that Hayi, and after I came to my own conclusion because at first I got this, but this isn't right, and I got a lot of points with this. These are Egyptologists talking on a site where they only went down to line 13, but I can show you plenty of places that that they messed up. We got that echo going. If you can mute one of your mics, Caleb. But let me see what where are we at? Oh, so what we have to do is figure out if this, you can see if this is really high, and actually, I don't want to do step by step, but people see the process of making sure that these texts say what they say at least. I'm going to look this up, and we see right here the same glyph, which is used as a determinative in a word for screeching, but if we investigate further, we'll see that it is also used for plenty of things, but to ascend, to charge, and here is used as a sort of a praise. But I have to try to find it to substantiate that. Because everything I see right now is saying to fall. So this is how I did it. I also know that you can find a similar term without the I, which is sometimes a complement on the end, and we're going to find it under ha with the same determinative to let us know. We should, anyway.
Okay.
And the last way we can search it is the last way to search it if you can't find the terms. So I'm glad we can show people this because I didn't see it in both of the two ways I just tried. So now what I'm going to do, dang, I need to go back to show you what the third way I search it, just to make sure we right, is we'll go back and find the determinative again. Where you go? Come on, Cass, where that thing go? It was under Screech. Okay, so now we see it's 3 glyphs. See, back here they have what is called the manual decodage, or what we could find in Gardner's sign list, where we can find these signs in Gardner's sign list. So now we know that the third one, high E, is A28. So now we got other ways to research the way this sounds. One way is to pop A28 back in the dictionary and look over all the instances of where it pops up from the top on. And now we see it's popping up as a porter, a server, attendant, height. Now it's going to have a lot of definitions. You'll have a lot of them to go through, but still, in order to be thorough, we want to find one. Here we see to be raised, uplifted. Okay, that's one that sort of applies to the context we see it in. Now we see it as tall, high, exalted, to be raised, uplifted. So now we see this determinative can mean height, and in the sense of height, is also associated with dancing. But just to cut to the chase, I'll go see it was mostly appropriated in the sign list, and if I recall, it was A28. And I'm just showing all the steps. We won't have to do this through the whole entire thing, but right here they have it as to be happy or in high spirits. So now let's go back to it, and we see. I'm still sticking with my transliteration of ha or high, even though they have it as waj. And the reason why I'm sticking with it, because if we go to some of the attestations I just showed you, we just seen it meant what you call it, but we can also go to Faulkner, which I don't have a PDF copy, but I can show you. I have it right here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And here he says he says that high also means what it means. But back to the text. Full spring. So now it's going to basically say high in my eye, or rejoiced in my eye, or praised in my eye, or what is that? Sorry. You see this praise, I'm just going to give it praise, high, rejoice, exalted in my eye. So now when I have this translation issue, I got to see what the lady said. And so I'm going to go to Lithium. And let's see what she says, something about my eye up here. Under the majesty of horse, just like I said, the mighty bull, she says rejoicing in my eye. You see what I'm saying? And so basically, I can't fault her for that because it's a translation of that meaning rejoicing, and that's just the the different way we interpret things. And
Right.
so I'll let that say rejoicing in my eyes, and then we're back to to show how this says my eyes. This is an M. This is one form of an M up here at the top. This is crazy because obviously this must be her feather instead of it being the A, read, leave. What do you want to weigh in on that, Caleb? Yeah, we know the sound is an A, and that also is used as an I in transliteration sometimes. Oh, I can tell you what it is. It is because of spacing. They turned one of the glyphs commonly used in the name Ma'at to the side. And this is this is why we look at text. And so this is Ma right here, and this is T. And so I can show and prove that this is Ma, and that's the T, and we see the determinative for Ma'at. But people can just look that up if they want to. But basically, they turn one of the glyphs to the side for spacing. You want to speak on that, Caleb?
Yeah, definitely. I would have said that was the plinth, the ma sound, or plinth.
Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah.
So it gives us ma'at. So really, it says rejoicing im ma'at. So this isn't even part of ma'at. This is not a compliment, but what is it? A preposition. Exactly. To ma'at. So it's rejoicing in ma'at, and then we see the su which is a short for Nisut. This is the Sioux plant. And then we see Bidi, which is Nisu Bidi, the Upper and Lower Egypt, the king of Upper and Lower Egypt. Now we want to go in on reading this cartouche, because one point I have that, Caleb, I know you can see clearly that this doesn't even say over here. Well, I don't want to skip, but I'm going to skip to this one. It says Merenptah. It doesn't say Merenptah like we transliterate. It says Merenptah. Now we can discuss it in a minute, and over here we see how what would possibly be read Hetep Hor in Ma'at or Hetep in Ma'at Hor or however. But first I should start with the first Shinu, which is called a cartouche
Right.
by Egyptologists, you know what I'm saying, but we call it a shinu. It comes from the term shin, which is the circle of eternity, and so the shinu would be the circle of eternity, which encases your ren or your divine name. And inside this, we see his divine name, and we see first this mer ho. Now, interesting. We know about reading the way that the deities and things are facing, correct? And so this, inside of this, it separates his names, because they face one name, one direction, and they face another portion of the name, another direction. So this deity and this animal is facing to the left, while this glyph and this deity is facing to the right. So I'm going to start with the first two, and we'll see Murray Amen, if I'm correct. Murray Amen, and let me look back at my transliteration to corroborate that. And in my transliteration, I've done, Murray Amen. In my transliteration, I've done the homework on it, so that's why I can look at my own work. But they also have it to corroborate it over here, what the other people have. They have it different than I have it, but they have Murray Amen as well. And then also she has King of Upper Egypt, by Enra Murray Amen. So we are correct. Steph, we'll show why the by Enra goes first and all of that. So we got Murray Amen. Now over here, remember I said this bull was the Ka? It was the Kanaki over here, but we got to look at the way these horns are going, because
Right.
this really ain't the same one. And then this is why having primaries come in, even though we got such a bad copy of the primary, we can clearly see it. They make a distinction between, well, you can't clearly see on this one, but these horns are turned up,
Right.
obviously, and on here these horns are flattened or smooth.
Flat.
So
Right.
that'll be the one thing that we have to know, that this isn't Ka in here, it's Ba. It's Ba, and so then the name Ba, and that's the N. We know this is the N, which is used as a preposition, and
Correct.
then we get Ra again. So Ba in Ra. So we got Maryam and Ba in Ra. Now let's discuss a rule called honorific transposition and how it applies here. We're not reading Ra in Ba. I'm starting down at the bottom at Ba. Notice that I wasn't starting at Ra, even though he's facing right here. If I was starting right here, I would start with him, then I would go up here and then read right there. That's the normal order of reading. But with a rule called honorific transposition, which we explain as we change the positions of the glyphs in order to honor certain things or to honor deity. And a real simple way to break it down is, we say you never want your likeness or your personal likeness to come before deity. So if you were really even if you were called Ra'in Ba, when you would write it, you would write Ba'in Ra. You want to add something to that, Caleb?
Yeah, you explained the honorific transposition correctly. I would say also another way we can tell how to read this hieroglyph is looking at the direction of how the preceding glyphs are written. So if we can, I'm seeing it. Okay, there you go. So everything is going from the left to the right, correct? So when we get into the cartouche itself, we should be reading from the Ra, which is facing the left and reading in towards the right. And as you rightly said, because of honorific transposition, the Ra is before the Ni and the Ba. So it should be rightly, we should rightly start with the Ba first, the water glyph, which is the Ni or the Na, and then obviously the Ra sound. So that would transliterate as Banira. And then we go over again to the left-hand side, which is, we see Amun here, but he is honorific, so it's honorific transposition, so he's first, but even though we pronounce his name last, and it's saying Mary Amun. So the full translation of that would be Bani Ra Mary Amun.
Wonderful. Yeah, and you just broke it down and actually taught me something, because we know the direction we read outside of the Shinu, but what he just taught me is that it continues within the Shinu, which was basically giving me a deeper understanding of something I understood in other ways. So now we got his first name, Bayan Ra Mariaman, and then we see the Sa bird. You was about to say something, Ish?
No. My microphone has
okay, we got the Sa. No, it's all good. We got the Sa bird, which represents was like a goose that represents the sun, and we also have Ra, Sa Ra, which will be the son of Ra, which is a common epithet, and so people already know that really. And then over here, now if we look at the logic we're following, obviously we're going to start right here at what looks like Ma'at. And the reason why I say it looks like Ma'at is because I see what looks like a feather on top of the head. So it can either, when you see a feather on the top of the head, a deity, you got a few options, but it doesn't look like Isis. It doesn't look like, I'm sorry, I'm at a loss of words for the other deity. Oh, Shu. And so it looks like Ma'at. And plus I've not cheated. I mean, I've cheated. I've done this homework already. So it looks like, but we're not going to start.
Clip notes already.
I mean, you know, they might know, so it's all good.
Yes, sir.
Hey, but really, we're going to use honorific transposition again. And now here's what one point of contention we find, because down here we clearly see Hor, which is, well, not clearly see Hor, but let's see if we can see Hor. And this is Hor at the bottom. It is a face, and I'll show you once you see the shape of this face right there, and then we look at it on the facsimile. And then we go to the dictionary to corroborate what we're saying. We'll type in a capital H and an R, and it should be a face that pops up. Get to the top. All right. All right, now you see this face is used in all of these glyphs with Hor. But sometimes you can just use just the face and put a single stroke, and it'll mean an actual face, or not an actual face. It'll mean something literally, like literally upon, like we see right here. Right here, they use the single stroke to say a literal face. You see what I mean? But if we look at the single stroke down here, now this is interesting, and this is part of Egyptian grammar. We see two faces. One face facing forward towards us means upon. And the other face, tep, kind of like means the head or the beginning. And now they got these two single strokes that means no, take this literally. And so the definition they offer us is on the behalf of. So that means if we see these two faces and a name behind them, it means literally. Ooh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh, was I talking really loud or something?
No, it's I don't know if the microphone or speaker.
Yeah, I have to mute your mic, my good brother, because it keeps feeding back. Did you fix that? Okay, I think it's fixed. It's all good. Oh no, maybe let me see. You got something to say, brother? Kakim? Family member? All right, well, I'm going to just mute your mic, and you still can hear us, hopefully, because it was just giving us a little feedback. And you can unmute it at will whenever you feel like it. It was just a feedback issue. So, yeah, it would mean on behalf of that name, because we see these literal single strokes. And now, what I'm putting forward is that what we see right here inside of the name of Bayan Ra Mariam, we see one right here. So But they leave it out of the translations of transliteration of his name, and we can even see Lithium, if I'm pronouncing her name right, does not say that as part of his name. Merenptah, she say content with my eye, and leaves it at that.
Yeah, that's that sneaky stuff.
I mean, it might be an understanding she has of the glyph that I don't have, but right here I clearly see. And let's see what the other Egyptologists put. They also, no, they put it. When you notice, you see this HR in the middle of his name. They say Hetep Hor Mayat, but that it reads different than that too. And I have Mayat in Hetep Hor. Now let's just look at all the different. I think I'm not having came to my conclusion yet, but this is a final. I wouldn't have. I mean, I'm making it public as a study on a study, but let's see. Now let's look. I said Ma'adim Hetep Hor. I really should say Hetep in Ma'at Hor with honorific transposition, but as you see the way they wrote it. Oh no, they wrote it right as far as the honorific transposition is concerned. So I'll correct that on myself. But the attestation that's public or the translation that's public leaves out. Now, should that be left out there, Caleb, or how would you translate this second name of Merenptah? I'll tell you mine. We clearly see the Murray Ptah right here, and then we see Ma'at, but we see Hotep right here. And these are phonetic complements to Hotep, which sometimes we'll find under the Hotep sign, phonetic complements to Hotep. But this is a single stroke and the Hor face. So it would probably be Hotep Hor in Ma'at, or it would be Hor Hetep in Ma'at. But I want to get your opinion, brother.
I think you might need to unmute.
I didn't mute Caleb. He muted himself.
No, I think he muted himself. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Reading this here, I do see Hotep, and I see Har, and I see En Ma'at. Or, yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. So it would be Hotep Har Ma'at, or Hotep En Har Ma'at, Hotep Har En Ma'at, or Hotep Har Ma'at. I would have translated that section.
Okay, yeah. So it's interesting. I guess we still would come to the same conclusion if we translate Hotep as peace, and we know En would be possibly preposition, and Hor would be upon or literally in peace. How would you translate it?
Yeah, I would translate it, depending on the context, it would either be, as you said, peace, content, or satisfied.
Okay, that's right. Content in my eye, satisfied in my eye. I'm still, so then Hor is just, what purpose does the Hor serve?
The horse seems like and to be looked upon as an ideogram. So basically being upon or on the surface of. So it's possibly satisfied of or upon Ma'at.
Okay.
That's how I'm seeing it.
That's what. Yeah, I see that too. So we got I'll say Hetep Hor in Ma'at, Merenptah, and the way we read that is Hetep Hor. Really is not following the rule. So just to follow a rule, I put Hor Hetep in Ma'at Merenptah. But yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, do we get a difference from Mer in Ptah? Oh, or are they taking this in for some weird reason and acting like it's a conjunction between the Mer and the Ptah?
Yes.
Are they?
That's
Why would
what
they
seems
do that?
Maybe in Ptah.
Well, let's look at the primary. The N ain't no place over there, and I don't think that makes no sense. I'm gonna start calling him Merenptah. Merenptah. I mean, because that's what's written. Merenptah. It say Merenptah.
I think the reason why they put it as Merenptah is because it's beloved of Ptah.
Oh, you're not beloved Ptah.
Yes.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So it would be where are we? Um,
We're right after that. We're right after the Shinu.
so,
So
so being content of Ma'at, beloved of Ptah, would be my rendering of that.
okay, that's what's up.
What have they translated it as?
Content with my magnified and oh no, it says Merenptah. Content with my. They say content. So I
Okay.
guess they think. I guess they using the whore to indicate uh something about the word peace which follows. You feel what I mean? Like not they mean actually content, like a true state. I don't know, you know what I mean? But I
Being in a
think
state of contentment.
yeah, exactly. So let's go back to well this I mean to me this is I might be weird, but this is my idea of fun, you know what I'm saying? I mean
That's neat. Yeah. Yeah.
so we see this S and what looks like and it's corroborated with this A that's under it, right? S but I might be wrong. Let's refer
I,
to the
I would say it looks like a ta at the beginning.
Ta.
Uh,
Oh, okay, Ta.
ta, meaning earth, and then that club for and then
Uh,
obviously it's complement at the bottom, which is again.
oh no. All right, now I got this one. That's a S. That's not the Ta because I went through this earlier and it's to make great. You know how S is causative.
Okay,
Uh,
yes,
yeah. So means great. This means great, but then when we put an S in front of it, it means to make great. So it's sa and then peti. You know, we see the two lions heads, which is the ph,
yeah,
pay, and then the t, peti, which is like strength or power to make great and power, to make really powerful. And let's try to refer to what she said. She said magnified in power, yeah. And magnified is not. I don't know. Listen, now we got to go to the dictionary. And I put for P, and you know, a lot. It's not like I'm guessing right now. It's because I look PTHY, and we see physical strength, power. We see the two lion heads, and so we see, and they put of a god and a king but it's written differently. So I want to go to the same exact attestation.
Note those were female lions.
Oh,
What the,
that's interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, ain't no name on them, huh?
Yeah, there's beauty in that. Lesson in that.
It is a lesson in that. And they use two of them like the pack gonna get on your head. You feel
Yeah,
me?
indeed.
Let's see if we find the exact way it's written. We've seen it back here. I think this is it because it has this, which is D40, which I would call User. No, not just share. That has a leaf. What User? I might be wrong. I think this is User, the name of this glyph. I don't want to go too far, but I think I know it as WSR. As we see right here, used in the name of User. So that's substantiated. But so that's how we know that User also means strong and powerful too, as in the Basar. But not to get off the subject, we were at Pehi, so we see the same glyph, Wusir, under there letting us know that this means strength and power. So now he is made great in power. Now we see Sek, or Sak, SQ. And I forgot that term. Are you familiar with that term? Before I go look back, let me jog my memory.
I think it means to make exalted. Ka.
Sek. Okay.
The sa yet again is causative.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay. That's okay. And
and
then we
then ka means to be exalted. Hence the determinative with somebody rising their hands.
exactly.
Um, So to make high, exalted, praised, etc. So to make exalted, I would say.
So cool. Now I know this glyph right here. This is really the leg of a calf, and I know it as Kapesh, but I don't think it's Kapesh right here because let's look at the notes. After being exalted, you were correct about that. I remember that, and so and exalted, just like he said, by the strength of Horus. So we did that together, but we didn't say Horus. Let's go look back. Did we? Why we didn't say Horus? Oh, because we haven't got that part. Got that far. This is the strength again. So it says strength again, and in the transliteration we'll find it at Kapesh. It is Kapesh. That's their transliteration. In my transliteration, I also have it as Kapesh. But I have a different. What was that term you said? I said Sakai. Sakai or whatever. I'm sorry, I'm not good at reading transliteration, but and the reason why I did that is because I came to a conclusion after looking through the dictionary and looking at what they had written down. It's the same exact definition of what you said to make high, but it was said a different way, and I don't think the Sakai. So then you said the S is causative. You were right. I think this is everything you said. This is everything you said. My bad. Yep, you said that S is causative. Oh, so the difference is I was using the H sound instead of the sound. And so it would be Sakai, I guess. We're right at the point. Or what I need to do in my transliteration to show that this is causative, we sometimes place that hyphen between it. And you see the Egyptologists doing the same thing. They use, if we can make this bigger, they use equal signs to show that it's a suffix, and they use sometimes this hyphen to even show that it's a personal name or a conjunction, and they also use it to show that the term is causative, as we see with this S. So, but this is cool. Let's see where we at. Oh yeah, Kapesh. So the definition of that Kapesh was, I know it in a few ways. Kapesh means is also a sickle, that was the what we called a scimitar, and so it lets me know about the see, look, scimitar, the power of, it lets me know about the power of the word. It's also used in the battle axe, and then it's used in power and force. So we know what they're implying when they use the term Kapesh, when they say use the other power like they made him strong, but now they're using the power like they also made him strong as the power of the sword. So right here, exalted, Kapesh, powerful. In this is the what's this? Which crown is this? This is the Shakim or I don't even want to mess nothing up. I know it's used as an N. It's the crown of, and I'm sorry, the right crown is the right crown of Upper Egypt, right? Come in for me, bro. Yeah, okay. So this is Lower Egypt then.
Yes.
Right, and this is the red crown. And so if we see a red crown sitting here used grammatically, it means it's just an N. And it's also a preposition, and it's used as like to or of, one of the two. Yep.
Yeah.
And so, yep, and this is Horus right here, Heru, and we know which birth this is by seeing the determinative behind it. So now he is mighty in Heru, or powerful, or really if we want to use it, he's made great in the power of, what's this right here again? Exalted. He's made great in power, exalted in the might of Horus. And then we see again Karnak, which is the mighty bull, or Karnak, the mighty bull. And then we see this is only an H in a determinative, but we know this means to strike. You see, this is a stick in that man's hand, and
right.
He's striking. So that H, you can just type in an H, but really it's going to say a word high. High is like to strike, if I'm correct. Let me put an H and an I. a capital H and an I for the transliteration. Not capital H and an I. Maybe lowercase h and an I. Oh no, maybe ha. Maybe it's ha to strike. And when I get lost like this, then I just put in the term. And then if I'm completely wrong, I ask Caleb. You see, strike. Yeah, the strike. Okay, now we're going to find the same term. They're going to determinative. He has the stick in his hand, just like.
Right.
And it's who-e. And so I was close. I said hi, but I forgot the
W. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
So, and I think I forgot that in my transliteration though. But what we doing is triple checking. They got it in their trans. Oh no, they got it. That's one place. Let's look at mine though. Forget that. Just to make sure I have that right. No, I put ha. See, and so I need to put.
It was HW. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Right. And let's look at what the Egyptologists put. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it. Let's see what the Egyptologists put. Kapesh, right? I gotta make this smaller. Right after Kapesh and Heru, they put Ka-Naked. They put who? I put who. I know I put ha. They put who. So let's just look at this for a minute, if y'all don't mind. I put
No,
ha.
not at all. But they don't have
Yeah.
the I on there. Yeah.
They put who, and I put ha. Now let's see what they put. What they get when you just put straight who. Oh yeah, it do. I feel them because it is used as a who for a soldier. But I don't think they was trying to say soldier in the definition. I think they was trying to say
One was in the context of a verb. One was in the context of a strike, and it said a verb, as in to strike, as opposed to describing something.
All right, now let's look at the context. Thanks for pointing that out. Let's look at the context as used in the sentence. It says, wait, where did I get lost? After here's over here. I'm lost.
No, because there's your upper over there.
I think we're still.
I mean, there's your lower crown.
Here it is, right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's. Oh yeah, strike.
Right.
Either this is what I was saying. Is this striking the 9 balls? I think this. Yeah, because we see the 9 balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can clearly see the ball on top turned to the side. So we don't even have to. Whether he's not. What was the other definition? They put who? A soldier or the 9 balls?
A soldier. They put it in a soldier. Yeah,
yes,
and
that
would be as a noun or a descriptive type of a thing.
Yeah, and she agrees with us and not those Egyptologists who are found on just a chat. She says the strong bull who smites the 9 bowls.
To smite, to strike. Yeah, because it's smite, exactly.
So basically, who is improper and who is proper because it's a verb.
Right.
So now we got that, and I'm glad we got that's strike 1 for us. I mean,
yeah, that's very important. Context.
But not against Lithium, just against these dudes who think they build in this chat group. You know.
Correct.
And they all got their degrees and stuff anyway, but still. Let's look at. So they're striking the 9 balls, and then this is a conical piece of bread. I mean, not conical, but I guess it's pyramidal or it's triangular piece of bread. It's really a piece of bread. I mean, I don't want to say really. I'm saying in Egyptology, it's really a piece of bread. Maybe in chematology, we don't know. What is it really? No one. Have we substantiated how it's a piece of bread? Sometimes when I come to these points, this is what I do. I'm going to go to my man Gardner and see how he came to the conclusion that was a piece of bread, because he is very thorough. And shouldn't it be full of loaves of cakes? Yeah. And he real thorough on how he came to the conclusion something was something. So they say this is bread, but let's look at why they say this other one is a piece of bread. Am I wrong on that? There we go. Yeah, conical. They do say it's a conical loaf. Hold on now. What does conical mean? Because before I looked it up, I thought that had something to do with a circle shape.
Yeah.
Like a cone.
Yeah, conical.
Yeah, okay. So, okay, like a cone, like a dunce, okay, like an ice cream cone. Okay, I'm tripping. So, first of all, how they made a conical loaf of bread? Well, I'm not going to go in on that. Let's just see what Gardner says. He says it's an ideogram given in Urdi, or Urdi, but I ain't good at that shit. And it's to give. And it also is used in the pyramid text as a rare variant, which is Ma, M-Urdi, or M-Urdi, or whatever, RDM, or I-Urdi, I mean, or whatever, E-Urdi, whatever. For the most useful imperative, or I-Urdi, how would you read that? I-Urdi, how would you read that? I'm going to show you which one I'm talking about. How do you read this right here?
This one, that one there. Is that the whole thing?
It's a reed leaf with the conical bread inside of the hand.
Yeah. What you're showing me there, I would read it as RD, RD, or ED.
Okay, so you leave out the R. Yeah, the R probably don't need to be pronounced. But
The but
basically,
the but the R in the beginning one, where you got it at the start, I would have read it as D,
reedy.
read D.
I say erdy. Yeah, I'm gonna say reedy. Yeah,
It's
cause
only because if we look at the Arabic as well, it looks like when we look at the word two, you have the word li, Li, and we all know that the R and the L is interchangeable. So I would have read it as reedy, to
okay,
give.
exactly. I just got distracted for a second. Let me do something.
Yeah, what's going on?
What up with it? How you doing, brother?
What's up?
Who's that right there?
It's Chris.
Oh, Chris, how you doing? Young Chris, the scholar. I'm a rock squad up.
I'm a raw squad out, but Chris.
What's going on, man?
Hey, Chris, still in the bed, huh? Hey, get this knowledge in that sleep. Get this knowledge in that sleep. I feel you, bruh.
Yeah, I saw I saw Ish just put up y'all were online, so you know I
Yeah,
wanted to tap through and see what we're learning today.
yeah, we building on this Merenptah Stele, and not necessarily the points of contention most people have, but we're gonna be able to walk through it after this video and break a lot of people down because we're going over the grammatical structure of it and looking at some of how we see the differences in these words. Oh, and I'm sorry, because one thing we have not talked about is how we know these words are separating while we're looking at them all run together in the text. But to me, after looking at a lot, one thing I've learned is there are some words that have more than 3 syllables, but a lot of those after you get past 3 syllables, they're going to be suffixes or things added onto the end that signify either personal pronouns or duality or things of the such. And so sometimes when we see, like, let's just start, we see the cartouche or the shinu, it ended right there. So that's a good place to pick up. We know that's one word, ended. So let's look at these three. It says sa'a'a, and that's one word, and that takes us through 3 sounds, so to speak. Let's keep looking at them. Now this one is hard to know, and really they also have something else. They write in squares, or they write in these like, if you notice, each one of these words you could put a square around it. You could put a square around this one. You could put a square around this one, and a bigger square around that one. And so you'll start to begin to see that each little section is its own little word until we start identifying the phrases. I just showed this as an example because that's 3 words, and then if we look at the next, it's really these 3, or it's really these duplicated, and T, which is a phonetic. I won't say as a compliment, it's the end of the word, but this is the Y, that is a suffix added on there to show the duality. This ty shows the duality in. You see, they got two of them anyway. So when you
Right.
see things in with a ty or a yt, or maybe it's a wy. How about that, Caleb? Is a wy or ty too sometimes, correct?
Tui, yes.
Okay, yeah, it shows that duality, and so that's how we know that's one word. Now this one is just simply two sounds in a determinative, which is we went over earlier. It was like sakha, excuse me, kapesh, which has user under it as a determinative in. So just to go a little faster, kapesh in heru, ha naked, ha pejet, ha pasejet, ha pasejet, and this is to strike the 9 bows where we were at. Ha pasejet, and then we came to the conical piece of bread, which is to give something. So, or to is like an offering. That's why they use bread for the word to give. This square is bread, and it's also similar to another glyph, but I don't want to go off. Now we see an empty shinu right here, but we see a filled shinu over here, and so the shinu is the divine circle around the name, which in circles protects the name forever. So it's basically saying give name, his name. We know it's his name because of the snake under it. The snake and suffix are this F, which is a snake and suffix. It says renef. It says Erdi, just like we went over. He said reedy renef in nehi or in nehi. This in is really a preposition over forever. You see the sun in between two H's, which symbolizes eternity. Nehi, jet. Jet also means eternity. So it says, give his name to eternity forever. And let's see what she says. We look at Lithium's translation. She's going to say, whose name is given to eternity forever. So I said, give his name to eternity forever. She said, whose name is given to eternity forever. And then the Egyptologists transliterate Erdi Renef, Nehi, Jet, Sajet, Neef. I didn't get that far. But Sajet is causative, and then I transliterated something similar. But I don't have to.
I'm gonna have you on my speaker. I'm fresh out the shower. I gotta get into
let's do it.
Work. But I'm gonna continue tuning in, and then I'm gonna hop back on in like about 15 minutes. But I'm happy.
Hey, thanks for chiming in. It's just good seeing you around too. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. I'll check in like 15, 20 minutes.
It's all good.
All right, peace.
Yeah, young Chris, the scholar, man. How you been, young Chris?
Oh man, I've been doing great, man. I'm back in Virginia now, man. You know, I'm just trying to get grounded and trying to get back into studying now. You know.
Yeah.
Now I got more time actually to get back into it. So I'm around my books now. I got all my books back now. So yeah.
I'm about to share the live stream in the Amara Squad. Oh no, I ain't tripping up that. People, it'll go when it go, but it do be cool when we got people interactive. There go my man, Kufu right there. What's up, Kufu? Amara Squad up. I see you. Well, yeah, we doing this Merenptah Stele right now. We just went over giving his name to eternity forever, and this is also an epithet we can find. And it doesn't always say giving his name, but we'll say they'll do something. Let him live like for eternity forever. Eternity forever, which is Nehi Jet, is found commonly in the king's epithet. Or it is, I'm getting tired too. Whatever. Now we see Sajad, which is causative, or to make somebody say something. Sajad, and we see is also feminized, but it's also possibly, why is it feminized? Sajad, now I noticed that the Egyptologists didn't feminize it, but I clearly see a T right here. So I'll feminize it. Oh yeah, they did feminize it. They put Sajad but they didn't. Yeah, they did what they needed to do. Sajed. But tell me something about this, Caleb. Uh, why do you feel that this is a feminine form of saying something? To cause to say. That's what I feel it is. Or what do you feel it is? I shouldn't put words in your mouth.
Um, I'd have to. I don't know. I don't know that at the moment. Let me just research what sujet means.
All right, yeah. Well, Jed, we know Jed is to say, and we know the S is causative. So almost, if we apply that grammatical logic, it's gonna cause somebody to say something. But let's look at how she transliterated it. See, she's just put recitals. So a recital causes you to say something. You see what I mean? And so she didn't put he said or we said. She said recital of his victories, which is appropriate. And that's why I don't just necessarily throw away with some of these translations that the Egyptologists come up with, because they put a lot of thought into this. Like that, recitals is somewhat, I'll roll with that. You know what I mean? Or, and because you know why? Because it's written in stone. And so it can't say it's causing us to say, well, it's causing us to say it because we're reading it. So it's a recital. We're reciting it. So it's a recital of his victories. So let's get back to where that's at. So it's causing us to say, nay, nayef, his, something that belongs to him. And let's substantiate that with our dictionary. Something that belongs, if we look up nay, I think we'll find, here's nay of his. It means his. So like I said, his, something is possessive. That's what I was looking for, a possessive adjective. So it's something that belongs to him. So it's causing them to say something that's his, and then we see this, that's nay. So we got through the first line of the Merenptah Stele. I know we ain't gonna be able to get through the second one, but I just want to, unless not at this pace, not live anyway, but causing them to say his in naked, which is the might, his strength, or but they use naked as, let's see, I want to corroborate everything I say with the dictionary, so we put an NX. Naked. Peace, LaRon. How you doing this morning?
Peace to everybody in the house.
And we see naked as victory. Right here, the analysis we're doing on the Israel Stele is not necessarily pertaining to whether it says Israel or not. We simply doing, it's more like a study of Egyptian grammar. So, you know, I'm just letting you see where we at. Right now, I'm going to show you where we at. We're at a point on the, we're at just at the second line where he's starting to boast. Merenptah is boasting of his victories, or he's telling us that this is a recital of his victories. And one point, I don't want to begin a debate because we're having a cool little workshop, but I remember we discussed before what the Stele was all about, and it's interesting that you enter right now because he clearly just said at this point where we find that this phrase, you can follow my mouse, brother LaRon?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, this is like a causative statement, which is to say. Well, it would be to say if it didn't have this S on top. This S means to cause to say, and this is what we're going over right now. So it says sajed. It says sajed. That means to cause to say, and this word nay f, or this phrase nay f, is his. And then where we were just at when you came in is naked. And so I pulled up the dictionary on the word naked, and it clearly says naked is victory. So now we see the N, the K, and the T, and when we go back to the simile, we can also see the N on top, a piece of wood, the K, and the T. And then this power fist, and then 3 strokes for plurality. So it's victories, not just one, not a power fist, but an arm holding this determinative for power. So now it's saying causing his victories. And so when we go check to see what the Europeans say about it, it says the exact same thing. Recital of his victories of the land. You see what I'm saying? And so basically, we just detailing the process of how we say we know what it's talking about instead of just And so so we're gonna proceed on.
Real quick, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Are these Merenptah victories?
Yeah, we haven't got to his. Yeah, definitely his victories. Yeah, his
Yeah,
victories.
because we see that the countries that he conquered, but in actuality, these are not Merenptah victories because at his conquest during his times, he didn't conquer these countries. He conquered probably like one. So he's actually recording the conquer the when he went and he conquered the countries. I mean, when his fathers went and conquered the countries, these are not just his victories. These are also the victories of Ramesses II and also of Ramesses' father also too.
Okay,
So
let me
these are
say.
not victories.
Let me get something in. So basically, what we're doing is dealing with primaries. Let me show you. We are dealing with primary. Can you see my screen still?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're dealing with primary accounts of what Merenptah did. So this is his victory stela. It's not Ramses. It's not anyone else. It doesn't say anything about those people. But we're not. What we're not doing is interpolation. We're not interjecting things onto what he said. We're trying our hardest to read the text to see what he said. In another conversation, we can inject our views on top of what we think it
Well,
means. But
that's not actually a view. That's actually when you look at the walls of Karnak, it's actually on the walls of Karnak because the walls of Karnak deals with and is related to the Merenptah Stele also because they are the victories of the pharaohs. So when you look at the Merenptah Stele, it's not just recording just his victories. It's recording also the victories of his fathers. When they went, we can go into Merenptah at his reign and his rule, and you'll never see that he conquered all these countries at his time. So that's what we need to really actually look at. I have proof
this
on
is what
that.
you can't. Let me say something, brother. First of all, we're reading a primary account of Merenptah's victories. We just showed you the word and the phrase that says this is of his victories. Now let me show you something real quick because you must not be able to understand this type of a study. We just said the term victory, okay? Victory. Let me show you the term that comes in the document before that. It is Ne'ef, okay? Ne'ef. Now it didn't pop up, so I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna take off the F because it's not registering. Now, belonging to those, his, okay? So it is his victories. Now I'm not talking about biblical reinterpretations of ancient Egyptian, what happened in ancient Egypt, if Kemet. If we want to talk about the walls of Karnak, we must know there are plenty of stories on the walls of Karnak. One of them being a reproduction of the victories of Merenptah. But when we look at that, we don't find this same exact story. This is not the same exact story you find on the wall, nor are the stories on the wall of Karnak that's mentioned Merenptah, which are reproductions. Those are not mixed with Ramses, Seti, or anything. He's claiming his victories in another section. Ramses claims his victories, and what have you. So, but I'm willing to do that, and we could keep on having discussions in that manner. But we're doing like a grammatical survey right now, not really a biblical one. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this is not biblical. This is from Egyptian archaeology. I don't know where you get biblical from because that's not even you don't even find this in the biblical text. So why are we even on biblical things?
We're not exactly. We're looking at the Merenptah Stele.
To not to relate to Wall of Karnak and to the Merenptah Stele, it just let me know you don't really know about archaeology at all. I wish I can pull up and work with that computer like you can because I have the information on it.
But I just got through telling you, listen, the reproduction on the walls of Karnak concerning Merenptah. First of all, that is a reproduction. This stele is this is the victory stele of Merenptah, as I just showed you. We have maybe it's not a coronation ceremony, but we have another tale of Merenptah that is mentioned. But the reason why, first of all, is because your whole motive and intention for uprooting this discussion is biblical. It is because you believe that Israel is on this stela, and so don't hide any of your intentions behind your little pseudo words right now. Like let's be clear, we're having a grammatical discussion, and we only gotten to the second line of the text, and he's already said it is his victory stela. So unless you could come with a primary account that says this means anything about Ramses or Seti, then you're disqualified.
Don't worry about it, bro. We're going to get to the good part in a moment. You sound a little nervous right now, but we're not going to snatch your chain. We just admiring your shit right now. We ain't going to snatch it. You sounding real nervous. Just calm down. We'll get to the Israel part.
Who is this?
This is Ishmael, brother. We're going to get to that part, the key part, in a moment. We're just dealing with the whole text itself. So just be patient.
Here they come. Here they come.
Yeah, you know, we'll get to that part in a moment. But brother Jonathan, let's just stay to the main text of what we're dealing with, and you know, we'll get to that part. You know.
I just booted LaRon. Maybe when he come back, he'll get the picture. What's up, Israel Doctrine? How you doing? LaRon, we talk about grammar. Israel, we ain't arguing. We ain't even got to that section of the text. It might be like next week. And so, if you want to argue that, I know you don't want to argue. That's Israel Doctrine. How you doing, good brother?
Peace. What up? What y'all talking about?
We're dealing with the Merenptah Stele, and basically LaRon just came in telling me these ain't his victories, but it's quite a coincidence that right before he came in, we just got through translating that he said it is his victories. So it was cold. You'll be able to see it on the video later, but basically we're trying to read over this text and trying to come to some conclusion. Now let me just say something. The so-called mention of Israel happens down here on the 27th line, all right? And we are really doing a real analysis of this, and we just took about an hour and a half to get to the second line. So basically, I don't think, unless we skip down there, which would be very thorough, I don't think we will be addressing that today. We're more or less looking, it's more or less a study on Egyptian grammar. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, everybody welcome to join, but LaRon didn't want to hear me when I tried to tell him we wasn't really dealing with that.
I think both of y'all brothers, y'all doing an excellent job being diligent and really, I mean, putting everything in a proper context. Not going ahead down to any of the mythical stuff that they try to push, just taking the time of the text itself. Y'all doing an excellent job with that.
Man, I appreciate that, bro. You know, I got up like 4:30 this morning, and my family's still sleeping. Sometimes I get drawn to this stuff and don't even know why I'm doing it. But now we got a format and a platform to share this information is more useful, and I meet like-minded brothers. You know what I mean? It make you feel good. So
can I get that link there?
Go ahead. What you got to say?
Can I get that link?
Oh, this link, I'm sorry. I thought I shared it in the chat. I'll reshare it right now. There you go. I shared it in the chat. So where we was at, he just got through saying that this is a recital. I mean, it was clear that your boy LaRon was tripping because we just got through telling him right here, this means to cause to say. So it's like a recital is what Lithium used, if I'm using her name correctly. And then this is of his. It says Naef. Naef is his. And then this is naked. And I just showed him in the victory that naked means victories. We see the plurality for these three strokes under the bottom, which let us know is his victories. I mean plural, not just one victory. Now this is an M up here. If anybody wants to pull up on their own computer, the what they call the Egyptian alphabet or whatever, it'll help to ask them also. But or you can just trust us and look and check it on the video later. This is an M right here. You always check it later. But this is an M right here, and it's used as a preposition. Or so it's of his victories of. Now this is where I was tripping, Caleb, and you can help me out. Because right here we see 3 lands, not 2 lands, but 3 lands. And normally when they want to say lands in plurality, they only put 2. So this caused me to think that this was of the word men, but then I didn't see the wavy lines right there, so I had to go back and look at the primary. And when I got over onto the primary, that part was on the second line right here. It looks like the same thing. So now, but these lines look wavy on here. So now I'm like, okay, this is crazy. Hold on, let me make it bigger.
Primary link, please. Primary link.
Oh, someone shared this in the someone shared this with me, but in a Google Doc. It's one, and I don't know. I don't want to share nobody else Google Doc, but you can find it on WikiLinks. So really, I'm just gonna go back to this. What would you say?
Yeah, I would say that is the symbol of the earth or land, Ta.
Exactly.
And the triple would be plural. The 2 would be dual. Usually we see it as dual.
Okay.
But yeah. So as we see in the Neteru, it's always written with 3 so-called flagpoles. So this here would be a triple Ta, which will be lands, as in plural. And the bottom one would be Nab or Nabu or Nebu, meaning all the lands or all the worlds.
Correct. And so now we can we can read the phrase from the beginning of this portion of it, as we know it to start from Sajet Naef. Oh wait, Sajet Naef Naked M Ta. That's not Taui. Taui is dual. So this would be Ta'uyu or Ta'u, huh?
Ta'u, yeah. Ta'u.
Okay, Ta'u Neb. Oh, well, that's as far as we got. So Ta'u Neb. Neb in this instance means all or every, and we see the 3 strokes for plurality under it too. So now this is the recital of his victories. Recital. So I'm gonna read it literally. It says, cause to say his victories of lands everywhere, or all lands, or every. So basically, yeah, she was right in her translation of recital of his victories in all lands. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if I can get back to that. Sorry. And then I gotta make me a breakfast in a minute. So hopefully we probably get through the second line. I'm gonna get on me some breakfast and probably come back to it. Where we at? Now this is the word we just was talking about, looking over. Erdi, again, except it's written out and feminized with a T. It's the R, the D-I, and there's an A, so that is tripping me out. So it's Radi. Let me look at what I transliterated. I hear some noise going. What's that, your fan, Israel Doctor?
Maybe, let me mute my mic.
Yeah. Let me see. On the second line, I did put RD ready T, and listen with what the Egyptologists put. They put that as well. And that means to give. And she's gonna say something about giving too, so to let all the lands know. Yeah, that's the same thing. To let, to give, to let. To let. Now let's deal with this, because sometimes they put 2 glyphs on top of each other. And this is really 2 glyphs. And we'll know, even if we see only this one glyph, this sickle-looking tool behind the bird, if you didn't know glyphs, you wouldn't know this was 2 glyphs superimposed on top of each other. But this one right here is the Ma. And that A helps us know it's Ma. but this by itself is the same ma for ma'at. If we look at ma, it's a sickle-looking thing, and I like to corroborate what we say. Instead of looking at this word, I'm just going to look at ma'at and show it, and we'll see if we look at ma'at.
And why would they put two glyphs together?
Why would well, it was because we're supposed to pronounce both of those sounds. But sometimes a lot of Egyptian writing is a matter of spacing and keeping things in the same block. So you see this sickle right here? Well, don't look at the second shape, just the top shape. It's like a sickle looking thing. I hope y'all can see it right here. Y'all see my screen? Well, that's the same sickle.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, that's the same sickle right here. So
Okay.
this is ma, the same ma for ma'at. So now we see an M right here, the same M from over here, which is a preposition. Ma, a lot of the times means like, but we see an I right here, right? So I think that this ma, it means to see something, but let's just keep it right. It says ma M, let me think, what is this I? I know it's normally Ari, but that's not the same I, because Ari doesn't have an eyelid on it. This is a different I, and it has an S under it, so I'm going to look at my notes. I said Ma M Ta. Let's see why, oops, I messed something up. Ma M Ta. Let's see why it says that. Ma is to see something. M is of. Ta is the land, but Ta is also something else in this instance. Ma M Ta. Oh, there go Ta right there. So yeah, this is a determinative, this I. So Ma M does mean to see. And this is Ta, which is the same as these, except there's three Ta's over here. Ta means the land. Now to prove my Ma means means to see, and I ain't just teaching no bull. We're gonna take the what you call it off my I and just leave Ma. And then we don't see nothing that say nothing about seeing nothing, right? So we gotta see what is this boy talking about. Maybe put another A on there. C, bow. Now we see that same eye with the eyelid on it. Notice they got an eye without the eyelid on it, but the determinative is the eye with the eyelid on it. So now we know when we go, and we see it's written the same way. It says Ma, except on the other inscription they put the A under the M, or on top of the M, and we're going to find it like that on one of these attestations, I know, because this dictionary is very thorough. So if we really want to keep, and also notice how what you can see is the same definition for what's real. So we should look into that. And ma'at is the root word to ma'at is reality, real, was real. So all that spookism and stuff wasn't really part of Kemet. But I don't want to get off on a tangent. I'm looking for ma'at written.
Shots fired.
I mean, look, what's the truth? What's the truth is what you can see.
Yes.
Ma'ah, see, look upon, regard it, see to, inspect, look on, examine. You feel me? But let's try to find it written. Oh, here it is. No, that's not it. It just has the ma and the I without the eyelid. But I'm determined to show it with. Well, nevertheless, once we learn glyphs, we know how they did shorthand and how they sometimes just will put a determinative so you would still know it's the same word. None of these have these are different models now. But back to, oh, here's truth. And we see how ma also means the truth, and but not to roll on that. Over here we got ma, to see the lands neb again. So either to see the lords of the land or to see all the lands, for all the lands to see, to let all the lands see. So now we see why she said to let all the lands together know. Know is knowledge. Let's see where she get knowledge from. I said see. And if it don't say wreck, well, anyway, to see is to know.
Yeah, I was gonna say to see is to know, as opposed
Exactly.
to in a verb sense, but to see means to know. Yeah.
Yeah, Caleb, are you still there? Go ahead.
One sec, I got a question to ask this man. Where you going this early in the morning, bro?
What's that?
Where you going this early in the morning? You all dressed up or
I
Man,
something?
mean, that
you,
was
you know my industry, man. Saturday is money day. I got
suited
meetings.
and booted.
Oh, for sure.
That boy suited and booted this
For
morning.
sure.
Said we ain't on no Ice Cube, you know, all dressed in black, and you know why? Well, you know.
You know,
Yeah, I
royalist.
see you put that. I see you put that vid up too. I mean, boy, that looks bad. These ugly times, man.
What big?
And you know, that's the whole
Where they
key.
choked that brother and killed.
Yeah, any of the history or the groups that we put together, we have to be just as vigilant on the modern days of us being killed in these streets. And
For
if we
real.
can't galvanize to lend our voice to bring awareness and to change these conditions of us being killed right in these streets, then no group or anything else is worth anything.
You're
So
right.
we have to be just, I see more people posting about, you know, rappers on who, Jay Electronica wearing a suit. I see many posts about that, but I don't see anything about our brother being killed right there in the same city,
Oh yeah.
wholesale. So we have to be just as vigilant in making not only history, but what's going on here in the modern day times. And that brother being killed right in the street for no reason at all, live on camera, that's unacceptable, and that will not be tolerated silently.
Yeah, you know
Yeah,
what? That go
they
ahead.
use their activism for the wrong stuff. Like you said, trying to
Exactly.
do this, that, and the other. But soon as hit somebody page and you seen it, you should have hit share and shared it on your page. And I did it once I
Well, you
seen
know
it.
what? I feel
Exactly.
that. I feel that too. But honestly, when I see, I mean, just personally,
Right.
uh, when I see that happens and I see those images, I'm not trying to hold anything back from sharing it. But
Right.
I don't know how I feel. It makes me. I'm so saddened first and primarily, and sad and angered. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it takes you to a different place. But
Sure.
I I want to do something about it in the streets, and I'm not saying I don't not want to do nothing about it socially to raise the awareness of it through via social media. But sometimes I have an issue with these. All right, this is not the same. Let me separate my issues.
Yes.
When we see ourselves die like that,
Yeah.
it demoralizes us and it empowers them. I'm talking about their youth, even their fucking little motherfucker like, oh yeah, I want to go beat 5-0 so I can do that. You see what I'm saying? I mean, because
Yes.
we're saddened and we're sharing our plight and we're sharing our harm. But even let's not even talk about that video in particular.
Yes.
Even when they share all these booty flicks, and now you notice the women in the booty flicks are business age sisters
Yes.
doing the twerking, and we can talk about how it's culturally cool and how it comes from a Mopaka, African dance or what have we, but I'm talking about how it's used in connotation of denigrating us and justifying the dehumanization of us further. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yes, sir.
now, I don't mean what I'm saying to be speaking directly towards sharing that video in particular, but
Right.
well, sometimes when I see how when you can look at a Facebook timeline and it's really
Yes.
dedicated to making us look stupid
Sure.
or
Oh
making
yeah,
us
yeah.
look vulnerable.
Black History Month. I don't like Black History Month because all they do worse than them. They might have hung us on the trees, but they hang so many pictures of us hanging on trees. Black History Month, man, it just sads me. I don't
Exactly.
even want to look on the wall.
Exactly, Black History. I mean, that is a part of our plight, and in turn is a part of our history. But we don't be seeing hella images of the inside of the Holocaust gas chamber on your timeline feed. You ever seen that?
Right. Right.
Uh,
No. No. You don't. No. And I think that's important for us to marry the social activist part within our community as well as the historical part of our community. It would mean more to us to have, we'll say, for instance, Sonetta sit down with the family of this brother so that we can get the background from our perspective of who this man
Right.
was, and then lending a voice for us to galvanize around his family on a grassroots level. And the family, not this family in particular, but our families have to know that they can come to us as our form of media before they go to CNN and the regular news channels, because they have to have confidence that we're going to be able to tell their story in an unfiltered way, not in the tainted way, because now you're going to have the Negroes come in and do what the Negroes do. Now you're going to have the Al Sharptons come in, the federal agents like Al Sharpton and the like. They're going to come in and circumvent the energy of what we need to do in applying pressure to this mayor. This mayor of New York City was quick to bring out his black wife, his children with the afros, and parade as if he wanted to lend a voice to our community when we needed it, when it was expeditiously available for him to want to get those votes. So now we apply pressure on that New York City mayor that paraded his black wife out and his Afro-wearing children out and say, you wanted to cater to us when you needed our vote. Now open up your goddamn mouth and start changing these policies to save our lives. And we have to know as a community that we have to apply the pressure on this mayor that was trying to cater to us. And as a unified voice say, get your white ass on here, start changing these policies, because we're being killed wholesale on camera in the middle of the day, and it would not be accepted. That's what we need to do as a community.
And we really
Hey, I wanted to
go ahead.
brother, this Kufu, man, peace to the gods.
Peace,
I
peace.
just caught Hidden Colors 3 yesterday. It's coming to the theater next week. I'm gonna catch it in the theater as well. If y'all brothers seen that, what's your take on that?
I haven't seen the Hidden Colors 3. I support what they're doing. I think that they're silent on certain key areas of our history. I think it's an important series. I don't know how long this series are going, but again, if Hidden Colors 1500 is not dealing with the social issues of what's dealing with us today when we need it, then they're nothing but conscious pimping, no different. They're fatah pimping, just like just like everybody else. So it doesn't mean a damn to me. I haven't seen 1, 2, or 3. I've just seen clips of 1, 2, and 3. So I support what they're doing, but if they can't make it tangible for me, I don't give a damn what they're talking about.
Who YouTube channel this song? Jonathan's?
Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
What's his YouTube?
What's the question?
Smash Rockwell.
Smash Rockwell. This is YouTube.
I can share the link for you if you're looking for it.
Yeah, do that.
He was looking for your YouTube name.
All right, let me see. They go to YouTube.
You'll find them.
But yeah, I think this was a situation about 2 to 3 months back too, where they snatched the guy up on the street and did something crazy to him. And one thing we should know as black males and black in general is, because it happened all the time to me in Chicago when you're in the suburbs, you in the white neighborhoods, when they roll up on you and they pull their guns out or they demand something of you, if you innocent, then just lay down. I mean, that will stop a lot of things. Arguing and fighting with them and their authorities is not going to play out to it, you know. They grabbed me on the streets of Chicago one day because I had to use it in between school. I had to use it between school, and you know they was talking. Let me finish, Jonathan, right quick. And they was like, "Oh, you got your rape tool out in there," and they was talking about doing something to me, not knowing that at the end of the day, I memorized all they black badge numbers, this, that, and the other. And there's like some people saying on Facebook, "Oh, if they would have put their hands on me, I would have searched them down. I would have got each and every one. You don't want to do that because you're gonna get yourself. But at the same time, when people threaten life, no matter who it is, you have to defend yourself or seek retaliation sometime." So
absolutely.
I'm glad you brought that up too about seeking retaliation, because you know, a lot of people, it's a fetish for people to get into things like that, you know, police brutality and stuff like that. But
yes, sir.
The actual solution, truthfully, the real solution is that you have to take them down. You know, we did everything else. You have to take them down. So if if we not gonna take them down, I mean, I'm
Hey,
not gonna say it's useless or anything like that, but man, that's the end game. That's the only end game. But sadly, we just don't have the power to do that.
Yeah, I
well, you
wanted to
know
ask the
what?
brothers.
I don't want to interrupt, but I want to end this video because it's live and we talking about the Merenptah Stele, so I want it to
Yes,
be
sir.
cohesive. I'm gonna end that. We just got to like the first two lines. People see how we begin our analysis, but I want to do this discussion because it's a more important conversation. And so I'm gonna start another video and hit the brothers who are available right back up and name it. What's the murder of this brother and what we need to do? Because honestly, let's keep it 100. Like it's time to be. We need to start, dude. Let's have that conversation. So, thanks for
Yes, sir.
everybody
Let's
joining.
thank
Go
you for
ahead.
that first part of the session, and hopefully we'll do that as a series. So
Yeah. I think we'll start the next lines, and then they're gonna be like, dang, they got 25 of them videos up. So yeah, I'm
yes,
gonna
sir.
hit y'all back, Israel. Ish, you gonna be around, or you about to step out?
I am. I'll be here for like another 15 minutes. Well, yeah, just start it up and we'll just continue flowing. Yes, sir.
All right. Y'all, peace. So peace, y'all will get a call soon. I'm about to stop this broadcast.
All
Peace.
right.
All right,
Peace.
peace.